Hi, my name is Morten and I'm part of the Podio Customer Success team. Today I'll give you a brief overview of the Podio Basics, starting with the Podio Structure, how to set up account settings, how to navigate, and then some of the key features you need to know about to work effectively in Podio. So I'll start with the Podio Structure, and you probably know a bit about this already, but I'll just go through this so it's quite clear. Now, in Podio, you can be part of one or multiple organizations. So you can easily be part of several organizations. So make sure you understand which organization is the primary one you need to work in if you've been invited into several organizations. Now, within an organization, you have workspaces. And workspaces is where you define the access management. So you may have been invited into workspaces that define the group of people you're supposed to be working with. So for instance, if you're in a sales team, then you've probably been invited into the sales workspace and maybe also to the intranet. Whereas if you're in the marketing team, then you've probably been invited into a marketing workspace. Now within workspaces you have apps. So an app helps us create a particular structure for the projects or processes we're working on. So an app could be a projects app. So that's where we then hold all of our projects. It could also be a meetings app. And then that's where we have all our meetings. So each individual project in our project app would be an item. Now, just to show you an example of how this looks in Podio. So if I jump into my workspace selector here on the left and jump to my workspace called Sales, then I have a number of apps here in the top. And I could jump to my Deals app. Then I'm in my app view and I have an overview of all my deal items. And I can jump into my deal item here and review that in much more detail. So that was the structure of Podio. Now let's just jump into some quick account settings just to make sure that you've been set up correctly. So first thing I want to make sure that you do is click this person icon in the blue bar, then My Profile, and take your time to just update your contact details with an image of yourself, and then also the various contact details that you want to share. So the image is important because that's what other colleagues will be able to see when they see your avatar. So it's a really quick way to identify who did what. And the contact details here are important because you would then be able to find contact details of all of your colleagues via your connections, but also via the mobile apps, so the iOS or the Android app. That can be really helpful because you can call or email directly from those mobile apps. Also take your time to just go into your account settings and make sure that the time zone is set correctly, make sure that the language is set correctly. So for instance, there's a difference between English US and English UK. And the difference will be on the time formatting and the punctuation. So make sure you've chosen the right language. And this is also where you can add more emails. So even if you want to add a personal email address, this is where you can do it. Then that would allow you to basically also import your private calendar into your Podio calendar so that you have everything in one place. Now, you should also just jump into your services area, and this is where you can connect to the various services that you want to also use with Podio. So one example here could be your Exchange account. So just press connect and then start entering in your credentials. Other Citrix products are also included and it can integrate very well with Podio, like ShareFile and GoToMeeting. So make sure that you connect these services if you also have licenses for those. Email notifications, that's a really important one because this is how you get notified about things that happen in Podio. I'll come back to the Podio notifications in a bit more detail later, but you should here make sure that you get email notifications every time you want to. So take your time to just set this. Everything here is ticked per default, so you get probably a few different and probably a bit too many emails in the beginning, depending on how often you have activities happening in Podio. So make sure that you customize this to your needs so that you don't get spammed. One really nice one is the Daily Digest. It basically just sends you one email overview per day, giving you an overview of what happened in the past 24 hours. So once you're happy with that, press save, and then you've set your email notifications. Now, I also want to just give you an overview of how to navigate around Podio. A lot of people don't know this, so it can be a big help to start using keyboard shortcuts. You can bring up our keyboard shortcut modal here by pressing question mark on your keyboard. So that's just by pressing question mark, you can see all of these shortcuts, and it can really help you work much faster and navigate faster around Podio. So let's say I want to go to my Deals app. Then I'll press G on my keyboard. That takes me to my workspace selector. Then I could start typing the name of the app that I'm looking for. And I can use my arrow keys to move up and down. And then I can either press enter and jump to the app, or I can press shift enter, and then that would create an item within the app. So that's really a quick way, instead of, as I did before, just using the mouse, clicking. So try using keyboard shortcuts for navigating around to different apps, creating tasks, creating chat messages, also going through your notifications and so on. There's a lot of opportunities here to work more efficiently and effectively. Right, so let me also just jump through some pointers here in the blue bar. So first, we already went through the workspace selector, and this is from where you can access the various workspaces that you have access to. And if you're an employee in an organization, you can also create a workspace. So that's a really good opportunity for you to, create a small sandbox environment so you can test out how it is to create apps if you want to try to build something yourself. That's all free to do. Next thing that you stumble upon here is the Podio logo, and that's basically what where you go to every time you just enter in podio.com and you're already logged in. This is your personalized homepage, so you can customize this. It's basically your personal dashboard, so that you see things that you should be reacting on, and quick links that can take you into things that you're working on. So in this space, I just created like a quick overview so that I can see what's in my calendar. Also, I've got some favorite apps. Maybe I want to also add an image tile where I want to have an image of my dog or my family. So everything here can be completely customized by yourself. So take your time to just set this up for yourself, to find the apps, find the information you want to be able to access quickly. Then moving on to our connections area here. This is basically where you can just easily find the connections that you're collaborating with. So let's say I want to find my colleague Brett, then I'll quickly type in his name and find his contact details. And again, this is available via the mobile apps, so you can easily access all of these contact details and contact people directly from those mobile apps. Then you've got the global calendar overview. And this is where you can get an overview of the activities that you're involved with in Podio. First of all, you can choose how you want to view this. You can also see here, I'm just seeing a few different things. I'm seeing, for instance, a meeting I'm involved with, and then some different tasks that I'm working on. And I can customize what I see by pressing this wrench icon here. And untick if I don't want to see tasks in my overview. And this is really quite handy, especially seeing things that directly involve you can be good if you have a lot of activities in Podio, because then you only see event type apps and activities in event type apps, instead of potentially having to see everything, and that might clutter your whole calendar overview, because then you see everything date related. This is also where you can connect your external calendars. So if you had done your a connection with your Exchange or Outlook calendar, then you could also enable that here, so you could see those calendars activities in your Podio overview. And you can also export your Podio calendar, so all of these activities here, into your external service once connected. So moving on to tasks, this is where you get an overview of all of the various tasks that you've assigned to yourself or other people have assigned to you. And it gives you a very good overview of quick to-do, so quick reminders of things you need to do and react on. Now, I've done some small things here to enhance my task experience. So I've created labels, which allows me then to also do some filtering on my tasks, so I can quickly see things, activities that I'm working on right now. So take your time to also customize that. You can also see in your calendar overview that then your label is also then reflected with the particular color that you chose. So it can be really helpful when you start using these labels. Now, the next icon we stumble upon here is the support icon. So that really just helps us, if you have any questions at all, to navigate directly to our help center. So if you type in your questions here, so let's say you have a question about how does web forms work, then you just type it in here, and pressing this button here will then take you to our web forms article in our help center. And it's really quite handy because our help center is very extensive. We've got about 175 articles and videos, old webinars and tutorials. So there's a lot of resources there on how to use different Podio features. Take your time to find information there, and then if you still don't know how to do a certain thing in Podio, you can always contact support at podio.com. We have 24/7 support, so feel free to do that. Now, search is also can be a really powerful tool for you if you're using Podio. So you can always search something across the context that you're in. So right now I'm in this global tasks area, so I can just search everything across all of my organizations and all of my workspaces. But let's say I was in my Deals app again. Then I would be searching contextually within that Deals app. So if I don't get the results that I'm searching for, I can widen up the search again by pressing search globally. So now I get a good overview of all of the, or at least a preview of all of the things that relates to the thing that I'm looking for. So now I could press enter if I want to see all of the results here. And then I can start narrowing it down. It could be by filtering, and then it could also be by adding some additional things. So like, for instance, adding saying, I want to look for things that is by myself. And then I can narrow it further down. So it can be really helpful if you know what you're looking for. Then you can really narrow your search down to something. Now, notifications is one of the key areas of Podio, and something you should really be aware of. So notifications is basically is something you get when an activity happens on something you follow in Podio. So what does that mean? What do you follow? So let's have a look at that. If we jump into our sales workspace here, then there are a few different things that you follow per default. So for instance, I'm part of this workspace, so I follow the stream per default. So that means that if someone just writes a status post here and shares it, then I will get a notification. You can also follow apps. So let's say if we're looking at this deals app, I could choose to follow this app. So I'm just clicking this icon so it becomes green, I'm following it. That means that every time an item has been created within my deals app, then I would get notified. I can also follow an item. So now if I was, for instance, if I created this item, or if I was put as a deal owner, or if I was ad mentioned in an item, then I would be following the item. So you can see these guys, they are following the item, and they would get a notification if I started, commenting or changing the stage or doing anything else in here. And I can also just manually choose to follow or unfollow an item. And you can also do that from your notifications drop down here. So you can, first of all, from the preview here, just quickly read. If you know what this is about, you can just click the small X here that takes you through quickly your notifications list. Or you can click through and view your notifications. Again, jump in. And now you've got a bit more context, and you'll be able to jump directly also from here to that particular activity that happened. And you can also choose to unfollow that activity. So let's say we don't want to follow this app anymore, and maybe we want to unfollow it. And again, just using your keyboard shortcuts then to navigate around here can really help you get through your notifications fast. But these notifications are really here to help you, right? So you only really get a notification because it's probably something you have to react on or be in the loop of knowing somehow. So, take your time, understand it, try it out. It's really important that you get this right, because when you do, you will work much better with Podio going forward. The last element I want to cover is our chat. So chat is basically where you can do all of these non-contextual conversations with people. So, just a quick chat to Megan here about that I'm not coming to work today, or if she could send me a file or a link to a Podio item that I can't remember what was. Any kind of activity like that you can do ad hoc here. You can even do quick video calls. So just pressing the video icon here would just open up a video call with Megan here without setting up a particular meeting. And we can also do group chats. So in case I wanted to do a little group of these people here, I could call it Group Awesome, why not? And then start writing something and press send. So now we have a group chat running, and the good thing here is that we would then also we could for instance star it so we can easily find it again. Now if you want a quick overview of all the various chats, then you can jump into your all chats messages and you'll be able to see it from here. You can also do a search, so you can always search contextually on everything you did. So on the name of the person who wrote the chat to you, on some of the words that you had in that chat. So it can be really handy communications tool for you. That was really it. Now, if you have any questions, remember help center or support@podio.com. We're always happy to help you. I hope this helped you get started. Have a great day. Bye-bye.